So rec meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Clark. Here. Trevino.
Here.
Ermeling.
Here.
Easker.
Here.
Wyland.
And approval of minutes from the previous meeting, March 24th, 2025.
So moved.
Motion by Easker,
Second.
second by Corvino. Any more in discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passed. Any public comments?
No one's online either, other than.
Whoop.
Other than staff. One other person is online. They're joining now. There we go.
Do we have any public comments today? Yes, one? Okay, we'll wait for you. Any online?
Wasn't this supposed to start at 5, right?
Yeah, it's 5:01. We are punctual. Yeah, go. Go ahead and give it to Sarah.
You need everything on here or just my name?
Your name and.
I have.
Pen, I got one.
Do this, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Anything else?
Want to do the public comment without actually writing it down? That's fine.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I just.
now.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead. Sit or stand, whatever you prefer.
Just sit down.
Go ahead and state your name and address for the record, please.
I was here last week to, just to witness how you go about this.
Sure. Observe, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so my name is Barbara Bolton and I live at 3102 Foxtail Court. And the reason I'm here this evening is to talk about Weston's beautiful and diverse natural resources. My yard is a certified wildlife habitat of the National Wildlife Federation, the NWF. What that means is that, what it means to be certified by the NWF is that my property is recognized by the NWF for its commitment to sustainably provide essential elements of wildlife habitat, such as food, water, cover, and places to raise young, all with native trees, flowers, shrubs, and grasses. The reason I bring this up tonight is that it has come to my attention that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Resources had proposed in 2024 to list the monarch as a threatened species under the EDA, the Endangered Species Act. And it looks like it's going to be officially listed this year in 2025. The monarch is already listed under the International Union for Conservation of Nature and has been for since July of 2022. I have a lot of facts and stats from the United States Fish and Wildlife Resource and the NWF about pollinators, but I'm going to keep this brief. Milkweed is the only host plant for pollinators. I mean, for monarchs. It's the only host plant that they use to drop their eggs on so that they can flourish into caterpillars and chrysalis and then become a butterfly. It's the only one on the planet. Pollinators produce 1/3 of the world's food supply. That is 1 bite out of every 3 bites of every man, woman, and child on this planet is supplied by pollinators. A great concern for all of us, whether known or not, is that the bee population has declined by more than 50% in the last 20 years. And the monarch population has declined radically, 90% east of the Rockies and 99% west of the Rockies. So what I'm here to do is just to propose or throw an idea out there to help the pollinators and mankind. And I'm asking that the village may start looking at non-working land parcels and bits and pieces here and there to allow native plants to grow and possibly even plant some flowers and trees along walking paths and parks and working fields. And one of the places that comes to mind is Kennedy Park because it's being, redone. And there's that beautiful little creek running through it. This would make just the perfect example of a place to allow a wild habitat to grow and maybe to even plant some milkweed and coneflowers and joe pie and, whatever can attract these insects that birds eat. So planting keystone native plants like switchgrasses and flowers has numerous advantages, and I'll just give you a few. Of course, it provides food and shelter that attract birds and pollinators, fostering a biodiversity that helps maintain the delicate balance of nature here in Weston. And number two, allowing native plants to grow controls pests. It helps to control the pest population because they attract beneficial insects that feed on harmful insects, reducing the need for bug spray and pesticides. Native plants are adapted to the local climate and soil conditions, which means less maintenance, time and money to care for them. They are also resistant to pests and diseases. And some of the keystone plants for our area, number one, of course, is milkweed that is so vital to the monarch, but also bee balm and joe pie, cardinal flower, beard tongue, coneflower, goldenrod. There's just a whole list of them, and they're easy to take care of. You could just plant a couple of them in a planter in your, on your patio or on your deck or whatever. But anyway, in closing, I'd like to say that, every little bit helps. And I understand development, I understand logging, I understand responsible forestry. My stepfather was a logger, my brother was in the forestry department. So I understand that we need to develop in order for, the earth to have, the people on the earth to have a place to live. The earth population is growing by leaps and bounds and we need shelter. But wouldn't it be a good idea to practice to replace some of the lost wild habitat from development with places for our pollinators who provide us with 1/3 of our food? It's not something that takes a lot of bureaucracy and red tape, and it's something we can all come together on. It's as simple as planting and allowing plants already here to grow. The keystone plants are important host plants. The earth is our host planet. We need plants and wildlife more than they need us. They can survive without us, but we can't survive without them. So we need your help to take care of them. Let's do it together. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, thank you.
If there's anything, other information, let me know, because I've been reading all about this stuff.
Thank you. And we're on number 6, update on Kennedy Park renovation and capital campaign.
So we do have an update in the packet as far as the renovation portion, fundraising. Michael put together a portion of it, Jamie put together a portion of it, as far as, so phase 1 is out for bid, phase 1 BB2 and phase 1 BB1. So 2 fields are out for bid. They are due 9 o'clock on May 7th, which is the bid opening. There is an addendum that has not been released yet.
No, one's been put out. So I mean, as bid documents go out, then there's the potential contractors will ask questions and then put out clarifying, I guess, directions or specifications for it. So there'll probably be another 1 or 2 addendum that go out, but it really doesn't mean a whole lot to you guys, just clarifying that, yes, that's how that structural detail of a dugout goes together. That's clarifying the depth of a storm sewer somewhere, so.
In Weston, do they show up on the 7th to do the bids?
Some might just mail it in.
Okay.
We'll see. I'd say 5 years ago, everybody would be here in person.
Yeah.
And in recent years, if This project's probably big enough where you'd have somebody show up in person, but,
You know, I've been in other municipalities where like the rule was you had to come.
sure.
And it's awesome to watch because contractors are intense dudes.
And they're doing numbers in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Up until 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, and we are requiring paper bids, not electronic.
Yeah.
So they will either need to mail it and get it here by the 7th, or they will have to deliver it in person. So we may expect more than Michael sees on some public works projects, but we don't know at this point.
Yeah.
It has been on Quest, correct?
Yeah, I can check here. I think there were 16 plan holders when I checked this morning, so it's not necessarily all prime contractors, it might be different turf companies or fencing companies.
Sure.
I think there was at least 6 or 7 prime contractors that would be the main bidding entities.
In the diagram that we have, so out by right center field on phase 1, BB2.
Yep.
Is there any significance to that circle, or is it just the circle didn't get cut off when you laid it in there?
It's just how the bubble
Okay, all right.
happened,
I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't a hot tub I forgot that was going in
Yeah.
or something. Okay.
yeah. I was trying to just highlight what would get
Yeah.
built as part of this, because the aquatic center fence is kind of almost right tight to that,
Yep.
so.
Okay.
And I appreciate you putting in here about the bathrooms. So, just to clarify that, that, I don't know if you want to continue, but they will be working with Samuel Group to restore or get started on the restrooms located just east of the field, which is by the new playground structure, from my understanding, correct?
Yeah, so if you see the hand moving on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
this will be the new restroom facility there. And the new playgrounds is this kind of grayed out thing right next to it, so.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
And then just for fun, what's the difference between a bioretention pond and an infiltration pond?
Infiltration is meant to go into the ground, it's supposed to infiltrate in, whereas retention is meant to hold the water.
It sounded way too easy for me. I don't know why I didn't know that. Okay.
It's okay.
So the next portion of it would be the update on the capital campaign. You'll see that there was an application to Weston Marathon County Parks Foundation for 10,000, Sports Authority denied 10,000, and then discussing submitting a room tax grant at the July Tourism Commission meeting. Tourism Commission did approve a fund balance of 36,796.72 to Kennedy Park. But it still would need to go through the board for, no,
Done.
done.
that one's done.
So it is done. Which was part of what I attached or added to your desk today, which is total fundraise, which we got an update from Sarah. To be the 527,000 raised, the commitment from the village, and then the room tax funds of 36,796.72, which is a total of 1.33 million for the project. We also did budget funds, additional funds for what we would say is what we just talked about, which is the parking lot, restroom facility on the east side.
So what's the mechanism for the $500,000 to become for Mike's guys, for the Samuels Group and things like that? When does that money transfer to us and how does it transfer to us?
So the 500,000 actually goes through the community foundation.
So
You're talking about what, from the Razek family?
Yeah, so they'll pay the Samuels Group.
They would pay bills that are part of field number 2.
So when we get the pay application for the contractor, we'll send that pay application to the community foundation. And they will then cut us a check and we'll then cut a check to the contractor.
Okay, so that's different than what Sean just said.
Yeah,
So the community foundation will pay Weston and then Weston will in turn cut a check.
Yeah.
Okay,
because the contract is gonna be with us.
Weston, yeah, that's
for
what I
the
thought.
Construction, so then, once we have that essential invoice or pay app from the contractor saying, I completed this much work,
Okay,
we'll send that to the community foundation. They'll say, okay, yep, here's your, $200,000 for this progress payment, and then once we have that deposited, we'll cut the check then to the contractor.
so has the $500,000 been deposited at community foundation? So what's the earliest we would need to pay somebody for this work?
Probably in July.
Yeah,
Okay, All right, so when will that money show up in the community foundation account?
They're just waiting for Sarah to tell them to release it, so they asked just to hold it until it needed to be released, so it won't take long for it to get put there when we do need it.
But it's not there now.
It is not there now.
Okay.
The
So
only
then-
other small caveat I'll add is there's the financial report that's in here that Jessica Troutman is doing. We did have some savings on the park equipment this past year, and so that was added. So I know we've been using the 766 number, which is still true, but because we had that savings for parks, it is a little bit more than that. And then Jess also included the piece that we did for borrowed funds for the next 2 years, which is the 381,550. So those are borrowed funds to use for. We had talked about things that were community specific, like the bathrooms and the parking lots and that sort of thing that the village would be constructing.
So then, just so that we're clear on this, the money raised so far doesn't include the 527.
No, what Jess will put together for the packet will be village funds. They won't be community foundation funds.
Right, but I'm saying that we have a document here that indicates $1.3 million raised, and that's not, that 500 grand hasn't been deposited yet.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so then,
What's held at the community foundation is the 27,702.92.
okay.
Great questions. Are you,
So
Continuing.
the next portion would be tomorrow, Jamie and Sarah will be going to the joint finance
Listening session.
listening session at NTC to hopefully present in front of them, the Kennedy Park project request. I know they plan on going in the morning and hopefully get in at some point throughout the day. It's a 2 minute presentation. And you've seen all the emails and you've seen all the back and forth of the letters and, so that is, the plan is for them to be there at 7 tomorrow morning and get them on.
Have you
I'll
done
be
this
there at
before,
6.
Jamie?
Huh?
Have you done this? So,
It's been a long time, but yeah, I
Okay.
have.
because the other
I'm gonna
ones,
spend the night outside.
yeah, I've,
I wasn't gonna.
so I've taken part this year with the Wisconsin Public Educators Network, and people are showing up at like 4:30.
Yes.
I know, I'm just saying, like it's,
I can do it.
Marcus Nelson asked about it and I said, it is literally like a democracy free for all. It is awesome to watch, having done them a bunch, but yeah, get there earlier.
Earlier than 6?
I think 6 is fair, but
I
yeah, and then bring snacks and water, because
Coffee.
it's a show. It's pretty cool. I think it's really cool.
I'll be there at 7.
I'll be there earlier.
Okay, I don't exactly know if the doors will be open or not open.
No, they won't be.
But people line up.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we will,
Do you know which entrance or what side of the building by chance?
it's the science building. And so I would assume there's some sort of main doors and I would hope that there would be other people
There's
that,
signage too.
Yeah.
There'll be signage.
so.
And you'll see the people.
So
So
the science building, I believe, is
Well,
one
what
of
if
the
I'm the first one
southwest
there?
one.
Do you know?
that would be
Or
cool. You're not meeting
Which one?
legislative staff. Like you said, they'll sleep in the parking lot.
So we look for a yellow Jeep is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm not, no. I talked to my legislators long before that. So, yeah.
They do have another Dine for a Cause event set up, and this time it covers lunchtime too. So, it's from 11 to 9 at, Patron, just coming up in May. That covers the bulk of the report that was provided.
Do we want to maybe share what Sarah will be presenting tomorrow on behalf of Weston and Kennedy Park and baseball that Martha's created? Can we share that?
Yeah, if you give me a second, I can get it pulled up and then.
Yeah.
I need to stop.
So what he did is he created a framework to create a support letter for tomorrow's listening session, and the materials will consist of a picture page, overview of who we are, what we're asking for, and where the project is located and why it's needed. Emphasizing that it's not just for Weston, but for the broader economic impact that it'll have on the region. In addition to that, it'll also include the stakeholder signatures, showing broad community support. And then, like you said, it's only 2 minutes, and Sarah will be presenting during that time.
So we've been instructed that we maybe can't hand anything to them tomorrow, but there's like an upload center, so we'll upload all of this tomorrow, so they'll get it. But I think then if it uploads, it's part of their database, so any of the legislators could access it or staff.
Which is not really nice. So asking the 7 million.
He's looking to see if let me just shrink this down a little bit so it fits better on the screen.
Okay, so numbers for the economic impact estimate. Potential tournaments, why it matters. So here's the testimonials. Oh, and Sarah's working with CVB and Tim with the testimonial video right now too. So those testimonials will also include, you know, why it matters here, but the kids will probably be giving those testimonials. My understanding.
We have an error here. We will get that fixed.
Oh, what'd you find?
It should be an A, not an E.
Oh, reject. So. We give a deadline with state funding, first field completed by summer 2025, full park online by 2027.
I think those are Michael's boys.
Those are my two kids.
Oh, nice.
Go with what you know.
As long as the royalty checks come.
I love that they're in the digger. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great picture. Awesome.
This is gonna change too it won't be Sarah's name, it'll be Jimmy's name because he's the head of baseball.
Why is that? Why are we changing it to Jimmy's name?
That's what the Friends.
Oh, that's what they
wanted.
want? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cause he's the president of the
yeah,
organization this
correct.
year, yeah.
All right.
But we hope to upload this in the final, in the parking lot while we wait.
Does Parks get any recognition in that as well, or?
We do have it specific that it's in Weston. We wanted to identify with Weston, but I don't know that it says Parks and Rec Committee any place specifically.
I guess what I'm asking is, would it be okay for my name to be added to that list as well?
Yeah, I can ask that to Marcus.
Yeah. Okay, any questions, anything to add?
You guys have another small group meeting planned yet? Work on next steps?
We just met on Friday. I think we were looking to get through tomorrow and then to touch base after that.
Because Marcus he just finished that today.
Yeah.
For the most part.
And we'll still have a couple, grammatical things to change to it before tomorrow.
Yeah, so if I don't know, I just really don't see Weston in here a whole lot besides just that picture, so I don't know if we want to, you know, stress that it is in Weston more, somewhere. Maybe in a few places, or just have that location icon like we did on the first picture, on every picture, just so that, you know, it's Weston, 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 right?
Yeah, I can ask that we add it in a couple more places as it makes sense.
Anybody else? Suggestions or thoughts?
So the last page does mention the Weston Parks Committee. You could look at the,
Is
yeah,
this,
right there.
that it's a collaboration in the
Yeah.
relationship with the community foundation. We have to have that tagline on everything with the community foundation. But yeah, I'll email those things yet to Marcus tonight.
All right, moving on to pickleball.
So unfortunately, we don't really have an update. We have not moved forward with anything regarding pickleball. The last update was that there is some private facilities going in throughout the state. And is that a possibility of something coming to this area? We don't know at this point, but it was kind of like, should we put this on hold as far as discussion for the future? We did budget funds for it, but it's not nearly enough to actually move forward with a pickleball facility. It would have been, you know, design work and, you know, a little bit more, but that was about it.
So the pickleball project, we'll say, is that contingent on a fundraising group stepping in and helping us? Yeah, okay. And the fundraising group that Shang and those other fellas and that lady haven't come back to us? Okay.
So I would like to recommend that we temporarily remove pickleball from the agenda. This will allow us to focus on more pressing matters, and we can bring it back when we have substantial updates or a clearer path forward. Because right now it's just.
Right, I guess I would move to have it removed until there has been some action or movement on it.
Okay.
I just want to follow up since we have a motion. So is the group of people that have come to us in the past, are they an existing sort of group? Like, okay, and they just haven't, are they under the impression that we're gonna, I don't mean to say it like this, but wait forever on this? Or, I mean, because at some point, I know that we talked to them about saying, hey, you know, you guys want to be our fundraising partner because we can't pay for $1 million pickleball facility. And you know, if they're not interested in doing it, I have now played pickleball and it's awesome. And so hopefully the pickleball people will now understand that I've paid for a lesson at the Y. But the thing is, we're not going to proceed unless somebody asks us to, right? Is that the sort of where we're at?
I think so. I mean, so Jamie and I met with the president, vice president, and we told them to like reach out to their members because they weren't on board with Mockmiller. We knew that from their survey. They were, you know, looking at Yellow Banks and we're like, well, reach out to your members because the village board and park committee said it's Mockmiller. So if it is Mockmiller where the location was, you know, we put it in the corp, and we really haven't got feedback from them as far as them reaching out to their members and saying, yeah, we could be on board with this. We could be a partner in the process. So it is kind of on hold and it's on them. I mean, we can reach out to them again, and see if they've, you know, talked with their members and,
Yeah, because I think
got some feedback.
this body seemed enthusiastic about moving forward with the project. But You know, I mean, if we're just gonna cross it off the list, then I don't want that to be a missed opportunity.
Well, I think,
Yeah,
I would
go
think if, you know, they're interested and they start coming back or.
Right.
Then we put it back on the agenda, but at this point, just to have it here and
Right.
just to hear, we
Yeah.
have nothing, I mean, it's kind of a.
Yeah, and to cross it off Sean's to-do list until
Right.
they, you know, why leave it an open loop for us? I think that, you know, yeah, I agree with you.
Do we have a motion on the floor?
I have a motion, but we don't have a second.
Oh,
I'll second it.
That's when we should have had.
There we go. I'm
discussion.
sorry.
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
second it. I thought you moved. Anyway.
No, I don't. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought Jamie
Jamie
moved
made the
and Barb seconded.
No.
Well, I guess.
Amy, you
could
made the
count-
motion
I guess you
to
could count
remove
that
it.
as a motion.
Or you
Yes.
asked to have it removed.
I
She
did.
has.
Yeah.
So
Is that your motion?
yes, that makes more sense.
So then Barb will second it.
Okay,
So then we can just,
so second by Ermeline, we had a discussion. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Motion passed. Alright, number 8, update on improvements at Yellow Banks launch.
So there's RFC in the packet as far as where we currently stand with the Yellow Bigs launch. As far as like anything more recent than what's in the packet is we did get the updated plans, which are in the packet. We also, Brian Kowalski reached out today, right, about doing a story or an update on the Yellow Banks, launch site. So he's been actually emailing her right before the meeting with wanting some more details on the project. So really for us, it is getting a bid packet together with the necessary quantities and getting the project out for bids for the items that the village would not complete. So curbing, blacktop, the dock itself, any other items that the village itself would not complete or with volunteer labor and materials and equipment. So if the village is capable, along with other donors to, you know, prep the site, get the road base in, put the culvert in, whatever it is, silt fence. So we want to remove those items out of the bid packet and then get the project out for bid so we can get this constructed.
Now, how close is this to the new play? I was trying to visualize this, where's that playground stuff, and I couldn't quite.
It's actually probably almost right in between both playgrounds. So if you see,
Okay,
if you see
I'm
where,
thinking it's close to Camp Phillips, but it's over farther.
right, so if you see
Okay.
see the driveway off of Northwestern where the gate is, where the green gate was or
Yeah.
is, that would be the new, tentatively close to the new entrance to where the launch itself would be. So it'd be close to where the access to the river is currently.
Okay,
It'll be
okay, I, for
Working off of that, not,
whatever reason, I
not
just,
adding a new site coming off of the park.
I knew it was by the river, but that was about the extent of it. I couldn't figure out where it was located as far as. Oh,
Mike-
there, I
Michael's
can
got it
see
brought
over
up right now.
there, yeah.
Generally, this area here.
oh yeah, the gas line gives that away.
Yeah, the gas
Yeah,
line
well,
is
that's what I
right
was
through
looking at.
here.
So we're gonna put it at Katrina's house then.
The kayak launch?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna park there.
It's a long walk.
So we are west of the pipeline, the 2 pipelines.
Mhm.
And towards, Michael's pretty much highlighting the area where it would be located. It's hard to see, but you can see right where Michael's cursor is right now is where the actual current access is to the river.
Mhm.
And that it would incorporate that. So it's already graded
It used to be a
partially.
very pretty, a nice sandy
Mm-hmm.
thing, and then there was a young girl that drowned. She got caught in some branches. And the county decided they were going to make it so it wasn't a nice beach anymore, and they dumped all the rocks in there. And then they gave it to us. Cause it was too small of a park for them to wanna maintain anymore.
On a happier note. So, you say you are going to highlight that in the wire, in the next wire, as far as the Yellow Banks improvements, or how is that?
For the newsletter, we had multiple items to cover.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna highlight this until we had final bid package back. So if not this one, the next one, because hopefully by the next one, we might be able to have most of the work completed, so we could say like now open. Just depending on contractor schedules.
Because we also have the Brain and Bone, the Reject family, and as far as park stuff in the monthly newsletter,
Okay.
or I shouldn't say monthly newsletter, quarterly.
If we hold off highlighting Yellow Banks, could we maybe highlight the plate structures again? And maybe, I know I've submitted some photos, you're welcome to use those. But just to, it's spring and kids are getting out to play, and we could highlight the nice playground equipment that we invested in.
Yeah, even a friendly reminder, our area parks are free and available, right? Like, yeah.
We've been trying to push out various things lately, swim lesson sign up, opening the pool.
Yeah.
Just trying to encourage people. Park reservations, so we got a ton of park reservations. And one thing I didn't highlight, swim lesson registration opened up last Monday for residents, and by 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning, we had 49 kids signed up.
Wow.
And it was all done online, so.
What's
And
the limit?
when you only have 40 spots per session and you have 120 total, 49 in the first day is huge.
Definitely a demand for it. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, good. Okay. So that takes care of Yellow Banks. Number 9, discussion and or action on disc golf improvements.
So we did get some cost estimates. We had cost estimate previously for the sandblasting powder coating. We did put together a cost estimate for chains. So we worked with Pete from West Area Disc Golf on chain preferences. So 2 types of chain, 2 different lengths. And the costs would be, as far as sandblasting, powder coating, and the chains for replacement would be $208.87 per basket.
That's cheaper than the new baskets though.
Yeah.
It's like half price.
Yeah.
Refurbishing.
And-
Just looking at them.
And the baskets that we currently have were purchased back in 2011 for the Macmillan Park disc golf course, because so they are, 13, 14 years old already, based on when we purchased them. So, and if you've seen them, and if you want to see them, you can. We have them sitting in the shop right now, a couple of them. But yeah, they definitely have weathered, but they're not like,
TLC.
they're not beyond repair. Like, they're not like rusted through or anything like that. It's literally just a lot of faded paint, and the chains are starting to rust a little bit and stuff like that. So
Was there any, I remember we had a long discussion about the berm that I still don't understand, but Katrina does.
we're gonna get to that.
Okay, I'm
That's
sorry, go
actually,
ahead.
that's actually one of the items that I have on your desk is we did get the estimate on Friday. And part of what was in the packet, and you probably didn't understand it, you're probably like, why is he sending us this? So there is some disc golf baskets, which I included, but then TC Energy sent over the pipeline depths for the entire Yellow Banks facility. And they vary from, was it 35 to 80, 97 inches.
Okay,
And
so that's not one of these things.
the deepest portion of the pipeline is where it goes down the hill, gets to the bottom, and then goes back towards the river. So the biggest challenge for us is to access the lower portion of the property. We actually have to go up over the pipeline, and then when you're traveling down the hill, which would be the 80s, the 97, 83 area, you're actually between the 2 pipes.
Oh,
So, and then when you get down to the bottom of the hill, you actually have to cross the pipeline again. Just because you can't stay between the two pipelines, so you actually have to cross over, as you see, it's on the left-hand side. They have a crossover up top. So when you get down to that portion, you actually have to touch part of the pipeline because it goes over where our driving trail is. And then the other 4 locations is literally a crossover of both pipelines, one on each side, just because of the variance in the elevations. And Katrina, I'm sure, has been down there, but we got some deep ditches on each side of the pipeline, which would not be great for equipment. So unless we decide to fill those in where you could actually just have one go over to the side of the pipeline and then be able to stay along that whole side to access area, you know, we could eliminate at least 1, 2 of them. We could eliminate both the one by the 47 and 44 and just have one up higher at the 44 and 35, which would eliminate 2 of them. So included on your desk today was the total cost. So every one of them, except for the south access, would require at least the wood mats.
What are the wood mats?
So
Like actually-
it's basically what you see when they're working on like the transmission lines.
right.
Michael might have a better explanation for it, but it's literally wood mats that they use to usually cross sensitive areas.
Yeah, I mean, they're like big railroad ties kind of
Oh,
Right.
bound
Okay,
together.
so, but if, all right, so this is the totem mats thing here is related to the pipe, not,
It's related to the berms that we've been discussing building
Right.
over the pipe.
and the berms, Katrina, are related to the pipe, right? Okay, good, because Sean's got me, I'm so turned around. Okay, so then to fix and plan around the pipe is the 38 grand.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there would be fill on top of the southernmost crossing also. One
So then-
foot, one
so
foot of
then-
fill, 1 foot of fill based on their letter from Joe.
So they figure people walking over is gonna disturb.
Not walking.
no.
This is for equipment
Yeah.
access.
Oh,
So we
okay.
can-
okay.
Have you
you're
seen the
saying-
one on their property? I don't know how deep it is, but it's pretty high, you know?
So the idea when I presented this initially, I brought it up was because we have to have to get heavy equipment like large tractors, dump trucks, semis over the pipeline safely, we had to create a substantial berm over the pipeline so that the weight
Okay.
of the equipment doesn't damage the pipeline. And so this has been an issue for this park in that you can't get a lot of equipment down there to do any kind of
Okay.
work or, I mean, to improvements to it, without going by the pipeline, like that's the only access to the lower part of that property. And so my initial ask was, can we get a berm built so that we don't have to, or that we can access both sides of that property with equipment so that we can do logging or maintenance and make better use of the park. Other than like right now, you just really can't do much down there because you can't
And
get
this would be
equipment
a permanent thing there.
down there, right?
Okay.
That's been the biggest challenge is making improvements and then maintenance.
Okay, so
She
this-
brought it up,
And
like,
there also a lot of that, well, I can't say a lot of it, it's lowland, so a lot of it floods. So if you're closer to the or the southern end of that, where the 39 is, it's drier, but this part closer to the river
we've seen it,
floods
yeah.
regularly and a lot. And so doing improvements in that area aren't likely. I don't think, I mean, I'm just, long-term, but if we could access the higher part
Right,
of
it's been a
the,
consistent thing that this fellow Pete has talked about. He can't get his friends and family back in there to do heavy work, so.
right, and there's, trees that have been cut down and brush that's laying around and like we have a skid steer, with a, it's a roller head. I can't remember what they call it.
Oh, like
It's a
brush hog?
grinder.
Like a brush
No,
hog?
yeah, kinda. But it grinds and it's like I have said that I would volunteer our equipment and our time to go down there and clear some of the brush away, because you literally just roll over it and this thing chops it up and makes everything into wood chips.
Right, but at the last meeting, didn't we volunteer Mike to do that?
Maybe,
Okay.
I
maybe.
think Mike has enough to do.
But you can't actually get that piece of equipment down there right now unless there's some kind of access
Yeah.
over the pipelines. And so that's the whole ask. And is it worth $40,000? I don't know. I know that in the past, we've talked a lot about making other uses of some of this parkland. It would be beautiful if you could walk it. Or we had talked about mountain bike trails at one point and like all kinds of ideas, but you can't
Right.
do anything if
Because
you can't get
in
down there.
Yeah. So Sean, are there two fiscal impacts here? So there's this thing for 4960 minimum in the packet, and then there's 38 grand.
Yeah, I
estimated.
didn't include the maths because we didn't have a quotation till
Yep, that's
Friday.
fine. So then,
So that would be, a funding ask would be for finance.
okay, so then,
It's literally if you want to redo the baskets.
so that's the first ask, which seems like an easy yes. And then the second ask also seems like an easy ask to do, because we've been literally talking about this every year I've been on this committee. So I think Pete has shown more than willingness to do it, and there are people who play disc golf in the rain, in the snow, and the least we could do
Everything,
is
yeah.
step up and help them, because they're gonna use it even in the rough shape it is now, and if we could show off a little bit and, yeah, I think it would be worth it to make both of these asks of the,
So really the one ask that's there
Right.
is the 29-24 for the, redoing the 14 baskets with new chains. The other one is if you wanted to purchase new for it,
new what?
new baskets.
Oh, so the 49 is the minimum for new stuff,
Yeah,
29.
yeah, 29 is
Okay.
redoing the current basket.
Did the staff have a recommendation?
We didn't have a recommendation.
Okay.
And the staff will be doing the maintenance
We would be doing,
or the renovation and the.
yeah, on the baskets, we would be taking them to crystal finishing and have them sandblast. And they figured they could turn over 3 every week.
Okay, so Jamie, if there isn't, if the totem mats quotation isn't in our packet, can this body move forward with that? We can't move forward with that until it shows up as an agenda item, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I'd like that to show up as an agenda item the next time I come here. Because I want to vote yes to Michael building us a berm. That was a joke that started when you weren't here at the last meeting, that I'm never not gonna think is funny.
You got volunteered for all sorts.
Yeah, you got
the
volunteered for
last
a
2
lot of
meetings you
stuff.
missed, so.
Usually happens, don't
What
it?
happens when you don't show up?
So then I'd like to make a motion to recommend moving forward with the proposed improvements on the disc golf course at Yellow Banks Park to the amount of, I guess,
29-24.
2924. I'll second it.
Motion by Corvino, second by Isker. Any more in discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion is passed. 10, discussion and or action on user agreements.
So this one has repetitively got deferred due to other items. I think the last time was actually discussed was August of last year. We were reviewing the MOU and we also had the user agreements discussion at the same time. And we proceeded with the MOU to make sure that we got that process completed for the Friends of Canyon Park group. But the individual user agreements for the different groups that use the facilities, we never move forward with. So we have a few examples in there. We have one that was put together by Youth Baseball. I have 2 from the county and I have 1 from California in there. Just for, see if there's anything that you, so you know how it works, right? You do some research online and you find something that looks like it might be good. We had some discussions with Youth Baseball, hockey would prefer to have a user agreement that includes an hourly rate for the use of the facility.
That's what they paid to the.
That was what Ryan suggested, because we suggested doing like an annual contribution. And I made a suggestion to make annual contribution based on the users. So if you have 600 in baseball this year and then all of a sudden it drops to 400 next year, you're not required to make the same contribution. It's based on how many people are within the group. That was a suggestion I made. Youth hockey we'd rather just pay by the hour. So
Okay.
I would like to know where you guys stand on that. I mean, this is just me making a suggestion, like I said, because membership changes every year. So I thought it'd be similar to like, making an agreement with an operator of a facility, like you base it on their gross income, not on monthly, because you can have 50,000 this year and 25,000 next year, and they're not gonna make any money if it changes that drastically. So it was a suggestion, but I don't know where you guys stand on something like that.
So youth hockey, or just about every youth hockey organization bases it on hourly rates because they're renting facilities. That's how they see it. Their organization, flows into the youth building or whatever it is. So I think that that's what they're used to. Whereas, baseball is, has a long-standing agreement with you guys. So I think that going with what Ryan's comfortable with, sort of a usage fee per hour. I think if you guys sit down, he can explain to you sort of how that works, or maybe he already has. But I think that that is the natural way that youth hockey works.
Yeah. And they don't all have to be the same.
Yeah.
They don't all have to be the same. They just what we got from them was they would like to see one agreement where it breaks out each group within that same agreement. So you would have a line item for youth hockey, a line item for youth softball, and a line item for youth baseball. And, there might be some challenges with that just because each group may want something different. But there's nothing wrong with that either, but like you said, youth hockey is used to paying that. So that's what he stated they would like to continue.
Yeah.
So you could do a line for youth hockey would pay, $50 per hour for the time that they would, be prioritized for the hours they use, or whatever it is, just an example. But ultimately it could, based on their usage, could add up to what the other organizations contribute.
Yeah.
So
I think it's gonna be hard to make this all into one agreement with different terms, right? So baseball and softball will have similar terms to each other, and hockey operationally is a standalone different thing. You know what I mean? And so I think I'm not 100% sure as to why we want it all to be the same thing, because we have 3 different stakeholder groups. So, but I think that I would, if I was hockey, I'd want to be pulled out of that just because of the different way that the accounting will happen.
But if it was a line item?
It's a line item that won't be easy to determine, right? Because there'll be bantam practices from 10 to 12 or X, Y, and Z. They're gonna wanna sort of claim time, and that'll be on an hourly basis.
and they've submitted a request already for the time periods that they would
Yeah.
request it. So I mean, we would have some idea of what they were programming and what they would be responsible for.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that actually said we would like to see all one agreement. I think it's because they all want, because they would like to be, like the same as
Yeah.
the other groups. Like,
Right.
they don't want us to be out left, them to be out in left field and.
Right, yeah, I'm just simply talking about an accounting practice, I think. And I think a way to sort of get an idea of this is to ask the Storm how their agreement looks with the district or Greenheck Turner or Greenheck Fieldhouse. Because that's essentially their home facility, and they are a individual organization that uses a home facility. So I think maybe that might be, just to sort of get an example.
Yeah, and I'm assuming they have similar agreements with
Right.
the youth hockey,
Yeah.
because youth hockey is separate too.
Yep.
I know they pay by the hour, because that was always the thing that when my grandson was in it, and they billed
Right.
by the hour.
So for that revision, in the MOU, can we kindly get some examples, for each group so we can include those in the line items?
You
Well, to
want,
revise the
one, or
contract.
you just said, different ones.
Well, hockey won't be the same as baseball or softball,
No,
right?
but like I
So
said,
they would
they
be,
could have the same terms of agreement, but just as far as what they're actually responsible for would be different. If you're okay with that.
just as long as it's specific to each.
Yeah.
Right.
We would break out each organization that are part of it
Okay.
and have it separate.
I think softball and hardball might be pretty much the same.
It would be similar, you know, I don't know a lot of details about the youth program softball right now. They utilize school facilities. I don't know if they pay them for them or not.
I don't know how to.
I mean, because if youth baseball uses school facilities, they pay for them.
Mhm.
So I don't know if youth softball has to pay for use of the junior high or the middle school or not.
But we have, I mean, we're not building the hockey rink this summer, are we? So we got a little bit of time to work on that bit of accounting, but the other ones seem sort of, this is what. This is what we've always done, it seems to be working.
And we do have some other groups out there that are looking to get agreements in place too.
And do they do not maintenance per se, but the lines and or do we do that?
What do you want them to do?
No.
Right now, youth baseball chalks the lines. We paint the painted lines in the grass. But they do chalking lines for every game,
Well, they should, I think.
you know? They were out there pulling
Yeah,
out
they were
field
out there.
tarps,
Yeah.
and wrapping them up yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
Yeah, so
That takes
I mean-
a dozen people to just drop what they're doing and come over there and. pull
somehow they
those
did it with three. I don't know how they. So he told me that and I'm like, you did it with three. I've done it with like 20 and it was still true.
Yeah.
You're well organized.
Performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah, like I said, we do have at least two other groups that would be looking to do user agreements that are not part of the Kennedy Park project.
Are you allowed to tell us who they are?
Wisconsin River Muskies Football Club and the Central Wisconsin Bandits. They're both football teams. They're post high school.
So after we raise our money and have all that done, do we have space for a football field? I don't
I'm
know.
saying user agreements to use the parks currently.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Just in general, like, 'cause we
Yeah,
don't,
and
we
there's
don't
plenty of
have,
space.
we don't have a formal process in place. So if we got these user agreements,
Yeah.
then, you know, there's no question who's using the park today,
Okay,
you know?
And I guess that brings up other questions too. There are ways where, like, you know, like a Major League Baseball field, if you ever, you know, back in the days, you know, they would share with their NFL team in
Yeah.
that city.
right.
Like, there are ways where we can do this where when a big baseball field goes in, we could still put a football field in the outfield and part of the infield if that was something the committee wanted to do, so that we, you know, different seasons, you'd say that field is available for baseball, you know, April, May, June, July, football, it gets it August, September, October. I mean, those are other discussions we can have as we move forward with some of those fields, so that,
Well, it's a good idea to make use of.
We did play football on the big baseball field at Kennedy for multiple years. Granted, it is a 20-yard short field, so we were able to keep them all in the grass. Like Michael said, we could have fit a full field, we just had to shift it into the infield a little bit to do it.
and if it's a turf field, it doesn't really matter, it's
And I have
it's not
been,
dirt or grass, it's
yeah,
turf.
and I've been in discussion with rugby, because, you know, part of the Kennedy Park project would be removing the field goal posts. They're looking for a site currently, somewhere to move to. But as part of the project, those goal posts will be taken down and rugby donated them, so they would be taking them back.
They have a hard time finding a place to put.
Yeah,
I thought we were talking about the MOU.
we were, but we also brought up the other groups.
So I don't have to do point
Rugby.
of order or anything, do I?
No.
Because-
If you want us to stop talking, you can.
Well, it's just-
I mean, they are all user groups, so it's however, you know, I think whatever user agreement we put in place, whether that's a group that has donated funds to, you know, maybe there's two groups, right? Like the group that's part of the Friends of Kennedy Park that say, hey, we're donating monies to build this. And then there's the groups that still want to have some kind of rental agreement to utilize the facility.
Okay.
Um,
Sean, just because the things that stand out is less hypothetical. The football teams that want to play football in the available space, they want to do it this summer?
They've already been practicing there for like 2 years.
Okay, so,
And they don't plan on playing games. It's just strictly practice. They're both utilizing either Steam or Boston East or Tom Field or Newman for their game times at this point.
so then if they want to practice tomorrow, do they just call you and tell you, hey, we're going to practice tomorrow? Or-
Yeah, or they send me their dates that they're requesting, and then I just balance the calendar between the two groups that are looking to use it at this point.
So then maybe you could just get us examples of draft MOUs and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. I also have a recommendation, on the MOU. It's on page 60 of the packet. It includes provisions for establishing and maintaining a liaison between the village and Friends of Kennedy Park. So I would kindly ask that that is included in the revision.
And that's part of the MOU that we currently have with the Friends Group.
It's not stated in there.
No, it's the agreement that from California.
Oh. Okay.
It's just because in the past we had challenges regarding the marketing firm and who they responded to and communicated with, so I'd like that
I
clearly stated.
I think that MOU though is I'm trying to get to that page.
Page 60.
It's stating that if the Friends raise the money, that we agree that we would spend the money on Kennedy.
We're talking about two different things.
Yeah, we are.
So the MOU that got put in there was for the fundraising one, and Jamie's referencing the user group agreement example that's in there from Costa Mesa Parks.
Yeah, 2.2A.
Yeah,
So this would be the user MOU with the Friends. Making sure that that's added into the.
so it'd be a
group.
user agreement with, like, say, youth baseball, and I guess that's the question, is the user agreement would be, I'm guessing, with the separate entities, not necessarily with the Friends of Kennedy.
Right, but I think that this would be a good addition to or a good amendment to our existing MOU to, again, formalize stuff that we had trouble with in the past.
Correct.
Because you guys have the small group now, seems to have some gas, so I don't think it would be a waste of time to put that as an amendment in the MOU to, again, formalize that relationship.
Is that a motion or?
No, I think we have enough to start, drafting some updated
So then,
user agreements.
but then next month, we'll see the amended MOU that exists now with Kennedy Park to include language similar to what is on page 60, section 2.2, A, B, and C, to be added to the existing MOU,
And just Village Weston personnel.
or people from this committee. Right. Because like Jamie is on that committee as well, so, yeah.
It's just between the village
Yeah.
and.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
I would say just say the village.
Right,
Right,
And
right.
because you don't want to be changing names all the time.
No, I wouldn't
Yeah.
specific
Okay.
names in it.
Yes, so village might work well.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll try hard for next month. My only, because I just want to talk to the Friends about it too. I don't think they would have any issue with it, but either way, we'll get it on a future meeting.
So, any other questions or comments?
Do you have the direction you were looking for the user group agreements?
I think so.
Okay. Just making
I
sure.
didn't get specific, which, if there was any of them that they liked. Do you like our standard or the MOU we used for the Friends group? Should I base it off of that?
So I
Or-
think
or do you like the Marathon
two
County
things are
ones?
sort of different because one is operational, like, hey, I'm gonna rent the field or, you know, and the other one is, hey, this is an existing sort of long-term marketing deal. I think an example of an operational agreement between a user group and the facility is more what I'm looking for.
I think Marathon County had kind of that type of.
And the draft one that Youth Baseball put together is the last 2 pages. This item on the agenda. It's literally a 2-page, not even 2-page, page and a half agreement.
I had another question. Page 2. Reporting procedures, the village and the Friends shall act cooperatively in establishing reporting and consultation procedures with respect to receipt of funds for the project. At a minimum, quarterly report should be provided from the Friends to the village administrator. I guess I was wanting to ask, do you think we should do it more often than quarterly? So we're up to date with receipts of the project.
I mean, I think this body meets monthly. I don't think it's out of line for our largest project to give us a report monthly on the, you know, it's essentially a spreadsheet, so.
And we have no problem with the expense side. It was just the agreement that was put in place with the Friends group was quarterly.
And that piece is just, those don't come to us, right? We're getting that in a bulk dollar amount. So I'm not sure when the Friends receive them on timing, but I would assume it's someplace around the middle of the month for the prior month.
So can we maybe touch base with them and see when their reports come in and potentially change that to monthly so we can have that for
I also don't, I mean, at this point in the project, I don't know that you're gonna see big substantial jumps monthly. That's why I think we did it quarterly. I think maybe if it's something where we are seeing that because there's a lot of funds coming in. But the other piece of that is they are the Friends funds. I mean, I feel like quarterly is, we're still keeping tabs on the funds that are there and making sure that they're available. If we would need them for a project, we're having that communication, but
if there aren't any updates, there's nothing to report on. If there is, then at least we see them.
yeah. I feel comfortable with quarterly.
Well, you can always bring something if something major comes up.
Yeah, and like I said, the expense side, you know, you have a breakdown in there of expenses to date. The check was not cut to full Nelson yet at the point of this, so there would be an additional 1,500 on the expense side. But as far as the revenues, that's, you know, we have the most up-to-date information currently.
Right, but I too think it would benefit us to have it monthly. Because, and it doesn't particularly seem labor intensive for the report that comes from the community foundation to get forwarded to the Friends of, and then get forwarded to the staff, and then the staff can just simply forward that to us as part of our monthly packet. Because
Even-
it is our
If it's
largest.
just numbers like this.
Yeah.
And then those numbers, you know, stick in our head and we
Right.
all know what's going on. You know, we don't get to see this information every day, all day. So it would be beneficial to us if we could kindly get it monthly.
And we'll check with them and just to verify that they actually get monthly updates. I don't know if they do. I don't know if they.
Even
know
if
if
you
they
gave
do
us
or-
the same numbers every month. at
Yeah,
least
I don't know if
we
they
had
do or
numbers.
not, so we'll definitely ask them and see when they get their updates from the community foundation.
Right, cause I feel like this is gold right now, cause I haven't had these numbers, you know, presented to me, so. And unfortunately, I don't get to see them every day, so.
I don't get to see them every day either. They were emailed today.
they're exciting to see though, so if we could kindly get those monthly. Okay. We are where? Possible next meeting date, May 26, 2025. Topic.
Memorial Day.
Oh,
I think that would be.
it is.
Sorry, we're filling the pool that day too, so if you want
Oh,
to,
yeah?
if you want to come to the pool with us,
We can have our meeting
come
there.
on. I'll invite you all and push you to work.
Camping. But,
Yeah, you guys should come.
so let's see here, let's figure this out. Is
As soon as you
everybody
said the date, I was like, oh, that's the last Monday of the month.
Yeah, is everybody okay with maybe doing May 27th on a Tuesday?
I'm good.
Dino,
I may be gone no matter what, so.
Easter, you're good with that?
27.
Yeah.
I'm
27th.
gonna mark it down just in case
I don't see anything else.
I'm not in Texas.
Okay, at 5.
I'm just gonna check this
Yeah.
room to make sure too.
And then topics for future meetings, we have the MOU, we have the mats. What am I missing?
The Marcus, the Nelson stuff, whatever he's finished,
Yeah,
the
Okay.
strategic plan and whatnot.
okay,
Be cool if this body could see that stuff.
okay. And could we kindly put that on the agenda too?
Probably can email that out ahead of time to, like, email it.
Before the packet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Remarks from staff?
I did have a report in the packet, and as I stated in my email, it was brief, but we were right in the process of bidding out the structure project, securing the, contract with Full Nelson, for marketing. So it was actually a relatively short update. And I also knew that we were gonna be discussing Yellow Bank's update as far as where we stood, when that was in there. And of course, the report was drafted for the board packet for the 21st, not necessarily for Parks packet on the 28th. So any details happen to fall within that period.
Okay, remarks from committee members? I do, yeah, go ahead.
Just that I may not be present at the next meeting. I will say aye or no. Because I'm not sure, it looks like I might be going with my friend to Texas, so. I'm gonna go visit her family there.
Okay, I do have one thing to add. So I recently learned that the village purchased some banners, possibly through parks. So I was, for the medians, I don't know if anybody has seen those.
Is that the we're under construction banners?
Yeah, those are Schofield Ave, street construction funds that were used.
They were not parks.
It was not parks funds.
It wasn't, okay. That was my question. Cause they were $1,500, so I was curious, but I guess it kind of cracked me up because most people aren't looking up at banners, they're looking at cones and which lane to go into, so I just feel like that was kind of a waste of money of $1,500 for some banners.
Yeah.
Fair, right? I'm not looking up at a banner, I'm looking at cones and traffic and everything else, so.
And if a
I'm
guy's
usually
gonna
on my
step out in
phone.
front of me or not.
Right, so I just wanted to be transparent with that money and let you know that the village just spent $1,500 on banners. That could have been used elsewhere. Remarks, oh, that's good. Anybody else? Committee? Announcements? All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
So
Motion by Easker. Second by Ermeline, all in favor, say aye. Meeting is now adjourned at, was it clear, 6:14?